everyone, it's Alicia here from We to 3, back with another Trying to Conceive cycle update. You might know that I was still waiting as of last week's update to either have a big fat positive pregnancy test or to start Aunt Flo. And unfortunately, last week I did start Aunt Flo on Wednesday, and that would have been July 1st. So yet again, I am cycled up with the calendar. I am now on cycle day 5, and again, if you watched last week's update, you'll know that this cycle 14, is the start of me taking Clomid. If you haven't seen our previous videos, you wouldn't know, but I have been just working with a naturopath since I got diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome to try and get pregnant, but we just haven't had the right result yet getting pregnant with just the naturopath. And due to a really low progesterone number when we drew my progesterone last cycle, we are definitely moving ahead with taking Clomid, which brings me to my plans for this cycle, which again, first Clomid cycle ever. And today, cycle day 5, is the first day that I started to take it. I will say I've been really nervous this week headed into taking Clomid. I know that there are a lot of risks associated with it and that it can make you crazy. I've heard some horror stories. So it was a big deal for me to kind of jump into taking it, but as of today, for my very first pill, I can tell you that most of the day, the only thing I've noticed so far is dizziness and hot flashes. The dizziness is actually pretty bad. I didn't really anticipate it, but like I felt all day today like I'm kind of off balance and a little woozy headed, kind of like the feeling that you feel right when you stand up too quick. It's a little bit like that, just mild and like throughout the entire day. So that's the first thing I felt so far. I'm not quite sure, besides the hot flashes, what else I might face. If you're not familiar with Clomid protocol, you take it for 5 days. So I'll be taking it from cycle day 5, which is today, Sunday, until cycle day 9, which is Thursday. And it's 50 milligrams to start with. I know that some people eventually amp up if they notice that the Clomid isn't working for them. So we'll see what happens this cycle. I will have a blood draw on cycle day 21 to see if I did ovulate. And starting Friday of this week on cycle day 10 is when I'm supposed to start taking OPKs to see if I am about to ovulate or when I ovulate. I also temp and do cervical mucus and cervical position tracking, if you aren't familiar with the things I do every month. So those are the other things I am doing this month besides Clomid to keep track of when I'm ovulating and if I am and how early I am with the Clomid. My naturopath did recommend that I continue with my acupuncture once a week if I can through the rest of forever, I mean until I get pregnant. So I am also doing that. The other thing that is different about this cycle from a vitamin, mineral, other supplement perspective is that she did take me off the Chinese herbs. And I think the reason for that is she wants to make sure I don't hyper-ovulate. So I think she wants to dial back some of the things that we were doing to get me to ovulate, since the pharmaceutical is going to take over the majority of it. So we've nixed all of the Chinese herbs, which is actually kind of nice because it was a lot of pills. Just those specifically is a lot by themselves. I am going to continue with some of the supplements I have been using besides the Chinese herbs because I have felt that they have made a difference in my cycle. So the things I am going to be continuing with are, and if you see me looking down, it's because I have all my bottles here to remind me. I am going to continue with the inositol powder, the Vitex, which I have been noticing a difference in my cycles. Last cycle was 29 days and I ovulated really early on cycle day 17. So I am going to stick with the Vitex. I think it's a good supplement to continue with. So the inositol, the Vitex, red raspberry leaf, which again, I think it's made a big difference in my cycle and in my lining. So I'm just going to continue with that. Usual prenatal DHA with DHA added, and then just the Clomid. So those are all the supplements I will be taking this cycle besides the pharmaceutical drug, which is Clomid. And then I will also be doing, continuing with the castor oil packs that I've mentioned before. I will start them after my ant flow is over and continue every other day until I get a positive ovulation predictor. So I think that'll probably add up to being, let's see, so day 6 is usually when I'll be able to do the first one. And if I ovulate even earlier with this Clomid this month, that might mean day 14. So probably end up being like 5 or 6 times, maybe less, that I get to do a castor oil pack. For this month, like I said, I am continuing acupuncture. However, I wasn't able to get an appointment for a fertility massage this month that fit into my schedule, so that is one thing I am probably going to be removing. I'm on the wait list for an appointment if someone were to cancel, but the likelihood of that is kind of small. So I may get called in during a time of like my fertile window when it works. My appointment that I had made was just far too late, especially for a Clomid cycle. It was on like day 15 of my cycle. And you're only supposed to get fertility massage before you ovulate. So I figured with the Clomid that it wasn't safe to be like, oh, it's only day 15. I knew that I know that I'll probably ovulate before then. Or hopefully, I mean, if the Clomid works the way it's supposed to work, I will almost definitely ovulate before then. Otherwise, I don't have much to update you guys on. If you can't tell, I'm kind of like scatterbrained and all over the place. We just got back in town from vacation for the 4th of July. I hope you guys all had an amazing 4th. And that's pretty much it for me. I am kind of hyper also. I'm not sure if that's the Clomid or not. We will find out. I'm just kind of feeling really just like nervous energy today. So I am constantly posting on my blog. If you guys have not checked it out yet, please go down below into the video description and find the link there. I think I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 more times. I update that so much more than my vlog. And there are a lot of things that I post about there that I don't get the chance to talk about really candidly in my vlog because my vlog is only once a week. So if you're wondering how the Clomid's affecting me day to day before I do another update next week, please go ahead and check it out down there below. I also sometimes do updates on Instagram and sometimes even on Facebook. So you guys can find me down below in the description, any of those places if you're wondering how the rest of it's going. One thing that's been sticking in my mind for this cycle, specifically that I want to hear your guys' experience on, is the possibility of multiples with Clomid. I'm nervous about that just because I have heard that if you already ovulate pretty regularly, which it looks like my body has been ovulating the last 3 cycles at least. I don't ovulate like perfectly, but it looks like I have been having an egg release. So what I've read is that if you are under a certain age, which I think is like 25, and I'm only 26, so that's pretty close, if you ovulate regularly, that you have an even higher chance of having multiples. So I'm just kind of, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I'm going to be praying about it a lot this week. Twins would be awesome. I'm nothing against twins. I know how much hard work they are, but that would actually be kind of nice. The thing that really freaks me out is like the really high order multiples. So please, if you would, prayers for my Clomid cycle that it does not result in 17,000 babies. I mean, 1 would be amazing, 2 would be fantastic. More than that kind of freaks me out really bad. But I would love to hear you guys in the comments down below talk about your experiences with Clomid, the things that you noticed really a lot while you were on it, cases of multiples in you or your family or friends. Those are all things that I'm really interested to hear about right now. If you can't tell, like I said, I'm so scatterbrained. And hopefully next week's update will be a little better and I won't be so just all over the place. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me through all of this. I've said it before, but you guys really are the best viewers in the entire world. I love getting to talk to each one of you and hear about your stories and, you know, be able to share war stories, I guess. And it's just super helpful, and I love your faces. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment about Clomid down below and let me know what you guys think, what your experience is. I want to hear all about it. And otherwise, I will see you next week for my next Trying to Conceive update. Thanks guys, bye!